In this video, I'm going to talk about brick patterns. You've already constructed the cavity walls surrounding this first structure, and the brick that has been applied to this one just by default is a running bond. I'm going to go to the south elevation, and I'm going to zoom in. All right, now if I come in close, you can see that it's just courses of stretchers. There are no rowlocks, there are no soldiers, etc. It's just a series of courses of running bond. And most modern construction for brickwork is going to involve a single withe of brick. In other words, not two withes of brick, which was much more common historically. We have one withe of brick, and then we have the cavity. So when you see like a half brick, as if this is a double withe wall, it's really more decorative. It's not doing the structural work that it once did. In your Revit model, if you go to Manage, Additional Settings, Fill Patterns, you will see that there are a couple of patterns for brickwork. And by the way, we need to go to the model patterns, not the detail patterns, sorry. So I'm going to scroll down here. This is the running bond that we see here. And there's also a soldier course pattern, which we're not going to be using. What we want to do, though, is bring in some more patterns. So I'm going to cancel this. I have open a Revit file. It's called US Modular Revit Brick Patterns. And basically in this file, I'm going to go now to the same place, Manage, Additional Settings, Fill Patterns. And I'm going to click on the Model radio button here, and you'll see there's a whole list of these brick patterns. So they start off with the pattern itself. So this is a common bond, the first section, meaning that every sixth course is going to turn directions. Okay, so we have stretchers for 5 courses and then headers on the 6th course. And they're also giving different brick sizes. Okay, so they're going to have different proportions. The common brick of this common pattern that we use is the modular one. So there's also the English patterns, the Flemish patterns, and then some others that are less common. So basically what we're going to be doing is bringing all of these patterns into the Revit model so you can apply the patterns to the cavity walls. So I'm going to click on cancel here. So you want to be in the file that you're bringing the patterns into. So I'm going back. So this is the project file, and here's the structure that I'm going to apply this to. And again, I'm going to go to the south elevation because that's where I'm going to be doing my work here. Okay. To bring them in, you're going to go to the Manage tab, and you're going to look for an icon that is called, it's not highlighting, but it's the Transfer Project Standards. Okay, so just move some other things out of the window here. Everything is checked by default, and I don't know what else is in this file, so I'm going to start off by unchecking, and then I'm going to go down to where the fill patterns are, and I'm going to, okay, so one thing you want to make sure of that it's, again, I'm in the file I want to bring them into, and I'm copying from the file that I also have open that has all the patterns. So I'm now going to have that check marked for fill patterns and click on OK. Right now, let's see if they were brought in. Additional settings, fill patterns, click on model. We'll always be using the model pattern type, and scroll down, and there they are. Okay. So what you're going to be doing is choosing one of these patterns and applying it to the cavity wall. So I've checked to see that they're there. I'm going to hit cancel. And then I am going to click on the wall. I'm going to edit the type. And under structure here, I'll click on edit again. Now I'm going to the material for that brick layer. And when it opens, I am going to select this foreground pattern. And I'm going to start making some decisions. So what you need to do is choose one of these. And I recommend that you use the modular brick size, but it could be the common, it could be the English, the Flemish, the fourth running, probably not the herringbone. I think that, I'm not sure if that came in with the file, the monk bond, and again, because most contemporary construction is using a single wide of brick, we don't really have the condition where you would turn the brick so it's passing from one wide to the next. So again, it's a very decorative sort of gesture. Perhaps you don't do it for the entire wall, but you have some areas that you want to put a particular amount of focus or draw some attention to. You might develop a pattern such as one of these. And this could mean that you have a series of, half bricks that are within the pattern. So I'm going to see how this English cross, let's see here, yeah, this one is the one that I want to try, the English cross modular. I'm going to try that one out and click on OK and OK. And again. Okay, so now when I zoom in, and when you choose your pattern, one thing you want to just double check, and it should come in fine, but I'm going to go up to the measure between two references. I want to check and make sure that two things, horizontally, that my bricks are the correct dimension. So they're large, so I'm going to double check and make sure I chose the correct brick size. And you also want 3 courses vertically to add up to 8 inches. So this one checks out in that respect, but I'm going to double check this and I'll choose a different, yeah, that's 8 inches. Okay. I'm not sure what I had clicked to. So the stretcher should be 8 inches and 3 courses should also equal 8 inches. Now you can see that the pattern isn't kind of registered necessarily with the dimensions of the wall. This wall we made 25 feet. That's the module that we're working with here. So let's see here. So I'm going to slide over a little bit and checking so I have 50 feet here. Maybe there would have been a better increment that worked well with our 4 and 8 inch module of a brick. With 50 feet, we have, we do the math, 50 times 12, 600 divided by 8, then gives you 75. So that, gives us an even number of bricks. So one thing that you want to do when you're working with masonry is to dimension things, in a 4 or ideally 8 inch increment. So what we can see when we zoom in here to the middle is that the way the pattern has sort of set itself, it's not really aligning with anything. So we want to go to the Modify tab and go to Align, choose this center, and we'll sort of experiment with what's the best way to kind of register things. And by best way, I mean, where do we have like the fewest cuts? The corners are particularly vulnerable. You don't want to have a super small brick there. How did we turn out on the other side? Yeah, so this one is maybe not quite as good. So it could be that we want to offset. So this is 2 inches. That's not ideal. We may want to shift things over So we have a different alignment. And so this one here is 4. Okay. It's possible too that you would develop a special detail for the edge condition so that you could have a cleaner expression on the corner. But basically, you want to make a choice about the arrangement there, and perhaps it's symmetrical in the middle. Maybe I want to shift it over so that the center here aligns with the center of one of the bricks, for example. But use your judgment and what's the best kind of arrangement, and where do you have a cut tile, etc. So I decided to shift it so that one of the header bricks is centered on that center column line, so it's symmetrical from one side to the other. All right, so that's the first step, is just to get the pattern set and align it with something that's logical about where you have cut brick, and then we'll be ready for the next part.